Coming up on Nittany Game Week.
The 8-0 run is tough to explain.
The men's lacrosse team advances to the Final Four with an improbable comeback against Notre Dame.
They just chipped away and they did their job. So I think that's number one, is just an unwavering belief.
He's one of the best lacrosse players to ever wear the blue and white. How Grant Amen's time in Happy Valley prepares him to be the number 1 overall pick and a 2-time league champion in the pros. And we reach our own milestone with the 100th episode of the program. We look back at some of our favorite moments from the past 4 seasons. It's time for Nittany Game Week. This is our final episode of the season, so of course we have another Penn State Final Four appearance to discuss, this time for men's lacrosse. Hello everyone and welcome to Nittany Game Week.
Yeah, can you believe it? Another Final Four. Penn State versus Notre Dame is a fantastic rivalry in any sport, and this time PSU delivers an unforgettable victory to eliminate the Fighting Irish.
Let's get right to the NCAA quarterfinal matchup. Nittany Game Week's Lauren Bradford shows us how they executed one of the all-time great comebacks in program history.
It only took 58 seconds for the Nittany Lions to find the back of the net in Penn State's quarterfinal game against Notre Dame, but that's when the real show started.
Comes Trainer, right hand free. Penn State strikes first.
I've been in the game for a long time, and I'm not sure I've ever quite been a part of a win like that.
A 3-2 game at the end of the first turned into a 5-goal halftime deficit for Penn State.
We went into halftime and honestly didn't feel like anything was going well, offense, defense, face-offs, and to see this group, you know, the seniors to my left, seniors on the field, just never stop believing, bonding in one another.
Game's not over until that final buzzer. So we've seen the games this past week. All of them, you're getting punched. One team's getting punched, and another team's punching back. So we knew that anything was possible. The
Nittany Lions started and ended the third strong, but still trailed by 3 heading into the final 15. But that's when everything started to click.
The 8-0 run it's tough to explain. I think sometimes things happen like that because you just train all year long and you don't realize or recognize the things that you're adding on a day-to-day basis.
You heard it right. An 8-0 run to end the game is what propelled Penn State to victory. The offense brought the lead back to the Nittany Lions, with the defense doubling down to hold on for the win.
All of our wins, they've been because of them for the most part. They've done a great job leading our team. And we know we can count on them day in and day out. They're one of the most consistent groups in the country.
A comeback that will stick with the program for years to come. The reward, a meeting with top-ranked Cornell.
It's an honor to play against Notre Dame. It's an honor to play against Cornell. We understand the history of both these programs, and at the same time, we're trying to build one of those blue blood type programs. These guys are trying to put Penn State on the map like some of these other schools, and you know, in order to get over that hump, you got to beat the best teams in the country.
It means everything. I mean, this is why you play the game, to get the championship weekend.
Final Four number 3 loading for Penn State, who hope the third time's the charm as they go for the program's first national championship. With the Nittany Lions, Lauren Bradford for Nittany Game Week.
Thank you, Lauren. Of course, perhaps the best part for the players is to celebrate with the fans and their families after the comeback victory. Great crowd shows up in Annapolis to support the blue and white. They're rewarded with another thrilling win from PSU.
Oh, it's really exciting because all the teams are just so good. It's anybody's game. So, yeah, we're excited to be here and hope to keep going.
Expect another large contingent of Penn State Lax fans to make the trip to Foxborough for the Final Four. And it feels like a shocking comeback for the Nittany Lions. But when you consider what they accomplished versus Cornell earlier in the season, it's not entirely a surprise. The Big Red comes into this Final Four national semifinal as the number 1 ranked team in men's lacrosse, with only 1 loss on the season, to Penn State, in overtime on their home field. We go back to early March. In Ithaca, New York, Cornell is comfortably in front of PSU 12-8 with less than 3 minutes left in the game. Kyle Aldridge makes it 12-9 with 2:27 to go. Then Liam Matthews from the steep angle on the right side of the net, 12-10. Still work to do. Luke Wallstrom fires from the low angle to pull them within 1. And then in the final seconds from outside, it's Jack Amon rips it in to tie it and force overtime. So the next goal wins, and it comes from Ethan Long on the top side, sparks the celebration. The Big Red was ranked 3rd at the time. Now they're number 1 and still thinking about the lone setback of their year.
It was a very real reminder that you got to play 60 minutes to put away a good team. And if you leave anything on the table, great teams will take advantage, and they're just that. So I know, we're excited for the opportunity to hopefully right that wrong, but know we have a huge test in front of us because, again, they're a team that's well coached, that's tough, that's talented. So they're going to push us, but, we're looking forward to the opportunity.
The Coach Tambroni, very familiar with the Cornell program and tradition. He was the head coach for the Big Red from 2001 to 2011, took the team to the Final Four 3 times, finished with 109 wins and 40 losses. He's now in his 15th year with the Nittany Lions, and they're making their 3rd trip to the national semifinals. Here's how the Final Four schedule looks for the weekend. Noon face-off for the Nittany Lions and Big Red. Winner gets to watch and find out who they will play in the championship between 6th-ranked Syracuse and number 2 Maryland. The final takes place on Monday at 1 p.m. Final Four is at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts.
On to the Diamond. Not many programs still in action for the Blue and White. The baseball team is one of them. They open up pool play for the Big Ten Conference in the middle of the week against Washington. The tournament being held in Omaha, Nebraska. PSU in a group with the Huskies and USC. We start this one in the top of the first. Penn State looks to make a statement early. Jesse Jakonski at the dish. Runners on first and second, drives one to left field to bring Paxton Kling home for the first run of the game. 1-zip Nittany Lions. Then jump to the top of the 6th. Big inning for PSU. 2 runs already scored to make it 3-0. Ryan Weingartner says, I want in on the action too, with the ball that's hit high, back and gone for his 11th homer of the season. Penn State up 4-0 to take the commanding lead over the Huskies. They tacked on another one in the 7th and stopped a potential comeback in the 9th. A line drive shot that is caught by Weingartner seals the win, snagged and put right into his back pocket to finish the game here. Penn State wins their 32nd win this season, 2nd most in program history. Penn State starts the Big Ten tourney on the right foot with a big-time 5-2 win over Washington. Up next, our roadmap to victory with a special twist. This is our 100th episode of Nittany Game Week. Todd and Jay Paterno reminisce about how the show came together and share some of the memorable moments from the first 4 years. More Nittany Game Week is on the way.
Embark on a journey of luxury.
A new level of sophistication.
Where?
In the Pocono Mountains.
The Lodge at Woodlock. Elegance defined.
The Swiftwater, a new and exciting addition to the luxury collection.
The picturesque French Manor. The iconic Mount Airy Casino Resort.
The Grand Lady of the Pocono Mountains, Skytop Lodge.
The Pocono Mountains Luxury Resorts Collection at PoconoMountains.com.
I've always wanted a big family, but one moment can change your whole entire life.
I went to the doctor and was told I had stage 3 cancer and I would most likely never carry another baby. Right before I was about to start chemotherapy, I was told about a new clinical trial funded by Stand Up to Cancer that used immunotherapy. And after my 9th treatment,
my tumor had completely disappeared.
Because of this trial, I was able to welcome a beautiful baby girl and watch my family grow. Help push cancer research further at standuptocancer.org/cures.
Roadmap to Victory is sponsored by the R&R family of companies.
We're back on Nittany Game Week, and it's celebration week for us, not just because it's the final episode, the season finale, show number 40 in a row for this year. What a fantastic year for Penn State athletics, and we're glad we've been able to document it. But it happens to be show number 100. We reach a milestone here on Nittany Game Week. This is our 4th season, and we've just had a great time doing it. Jay Paterno, one of our co-founders of the show, is here. And Jay, of course, we have you and Tom Bradley for the first 20 shows, and it was really born of talking about a coach's game week.
Well, we thought it'd be fun, and the idea is to take you through and talk about the game that just happened like you would on a Sunday in the meeting room, and then take you through the game plan. And the Impact interviews have been a lot of fun. We've had some incredible guests, and also a perspective on something beyond the field, which is what college athletics should always be about, is something bigger than just the wins and losses.
We hear so much feedback from people and viewers that watch it that love the interview portions of it. So some of the ones that stand out to you.
I think the most emotional is Franco Harris, because we did that interview and within a week he had passed. And it was right before the 50th anniversary of his Immaculate Reception. The things he talked about were so much more than just football. And that's how he lived his life. Eric LeGrand, even though he's not a Penn State guy, the things he talked about and you go into his coffee shop, that segment was really incredible. Beyond football, Katie Schumacher-Colley and the story of that team. We did the interview with Sean Lee and Paul Posluszny together at the same time, which was a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun with those interviews to get more than just the game itself.
This is just the start of it for us as far as the commitment to 40 weeks, but what a 4 years it's been for Nittany Game Week so far.
Ending with these 20 weeks where we're covering all the sports, there are so many amazing athletes at Penn State beyond just what we see on Saturdays in the fall. And I can remember for years, in our coaching meetings, when Joe would talk about it, he'd say, don't forget, there's a lot of great athletes on this campus. Some of them want to win as much, if not more, than our guys do. And make sure that we have the kind of respect for all that. A guy like Dylan Lugris in hockey that starts that whole program with sled hockey. And we talked about, all the charitable endeavors that they're involved in, but also how they compete and how they carry themselves on and off the field, and watching those things and those stories the last 20 weeks. Really looking forward to the show continuing on like that in the future. So, at 40 at a time, we'll be here for number 200 sooner than later.
One of my favorite moments is when Nittany Game Week's very own Coach Bradley is welcomed back to Beaver Stadium in the fall of 2023. Tom did the ceremonial coin toss, a huge ovation as he attends a Penn State game for the first time in over a decade. We're back to Penn State lacrosse when we come back. Our Impact interview is with legendary Nittany Lions star Grant Ament. He explains how PSU's progress and team culture could result in a national championship. We'll be right back with more Nittany Game Week.
These are more than just trucks. Every shipment moved by the R&R family of companies contributes to the Excel Foundation for Autism Research and Inclusion, funding safe spaces like the Sensory Room at Penn State's Beaver Stadium, and a special event sensory trailer, and giving thousands that were unheard a voice.
Now is the time to amplify non-speaking voices and drive meaningful change.
These trucks are powered by purpose.
We hope you enjoy these experiences as much as we do. Pocono Mountains Luxury Resorts. Luxury Unlimited. Find it at PoconoMountains.com.
Impact Interview is sponsored by the Pocono Mountains, where small-town charm meets big adventures. Book your trip today by visiting PoconoMountains.com.
Welcome back to Nittany Game Week. It is time for our Impact interview, and it's safe to say this guy has had a tremendous impact on the Penn State men's lacrosse program and the Professional Lacrosse League afterwards. Two-time champion of the Utah Archers, going for a three-peat, and certainly one of the best to ever wear the blue and white. Grant Ament joins us. Grant, thanks so much for taking some time with us today.
Thanks for having me, Todd. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, look, let's go ahead and start with 2025. We're gonna go to the past a little bit in your career, but let's go with what's going on right now, the excitement with Penn State lacrosse. If you don't count the COVID year, this is the third Final Four appearance and now 6 seasons for Coach Tambroni and the guys, and they do it in such an amazing, improbable way with the comeback against Notre Dame. So I want to go to the culture of the program. We can talk about the specifics of a comeback and all that type of stuff, but as we were talking a little bit before, it really permeates everyone in this organization, in this program, what Coach Tambroni talks about and discusses. So give us an idea of what makes this program special and makes them able to do things like they were able to do against the Fighting Irish.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Tambroni sets the tone pretty early on, every single year. But in terms of demanding everything that you have, the one thing that he would always say to us, and I know he still preaches it to this team, is we just ask for nothing but your very best and nothing but everything that you have. And that's in workouts, that's in on the field, in conditioning, everything. And, just the way that he goes about his day, he not only talks it, but he walks it as well. And it's something I always respected about him. Like, nobody beats him to the office. Nobody really leaves before him. And he's as dedicated of a man as I've ever seen. And is a guy that is the best leader that I've played for, and has taught I mean, every guy that I played with, there's nobody that they would go to war for more than that guy. So when you have such an amazing leader at the top, and then combine that with some amazing talent that we have and guys that buy into that culture, anything's possible. And I think that was on display on Sunday.
Well, Grant, you were part of a group really that a class of guys that came in and really elevated Penn State and took them into that next level, into the Final Four. So as that was happening in real time, sometimes teams and players can sense in real time that something special was happening. Could you sense that at the time when you guys were when you were going through that and getting into that first Final Four?
Yeah, I think we did. I think, looking at just the guys that I played with, I played high school ball with Chris Sabia for the Haverford School, and we had an opportunity to go undefeated our senior year, and just talking about winning and that team and how we learned how to win and bringing that as the expectation for us. And in the beginning of the year, I remember having that conversation, guys like Kevin Fox, just reminding everybody that it's cool to care about the little things. Guys like Matt Donnelly, who didn't say a lot, but did a lot. And then you combine that with the talent that we had, they're just talking about that team. I'm pretty sure we had 9 All-Americans on that team. And so we knew we had the opportunity to be special. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. We knew there were going to be hiccups along the way. And, looking back on it, we only lost to one team that year who just happened to have the best face-off guy in college lacrosse history. So we could sense it for sure, but we would not have been there if it weren't for the years prior where we came up short. We lost in 2017 to Towson in a game where we expected to win. The year before, my freshman year, we had 3 back-to-back 1-goal losses, all to Big Ten teams. I was injured my junior year in 2018. And we ended up, I think it was like 8-6 or something like that. Just not an amazing year. Didn't make even the Big Ten tournament. And just, we were motivated. And that's what I think this team in 2025 continues to show, is just how motivated they are. Because, talking to the guys on the team, yes, we elevated the program, but we didn't get it done. And so I think, if you ask any guy on that 2019 team, if this team does it, they're going to celebrate just as hard, if not harder, if these guys can hoist the trophy on Memorial Day weekend.
Grant, it's been a special year in Happy Valley. The football team made it all the way to the national semifinals. The hockey team, an awesome surprise to make it to the Frozen Four. Now the lacrosse team. But this program's been to this point before. And as you mentioned, you guys haven't gotten that championship, haven't won it all. As we watch them play Cornell, and they dealt Cornell the only loss for the season for the Big Red, what are the keys as you watch that game and watching this team that could signal, hey, this is a team that could potentially win it all?
Yeah, I think first, it just comes down to fight. Like this team's got a lot of fight. You look at that first Cornell game, we're down with multiple goals with 2.5 minutes left. And yes, it was an unlucky penalty for Cornell that ended up giving us the victory. But just the fact that we were able to win faceoffs in that moment, we were able to do things in clutch time. And then, I look back at the Notre Dame game this past week, like they could have rolled over and they didn't. And they just chipped away and they did their job. So I think that's number one, is just an unwavering belief is definitely key number one. But two, we're playing the best offense in college lacrosse right now, the best player in college lacrosse right now. So obviously, Coach Bucci, I know, is going to draw up something, probably a mixture of man and zone. But just maintaining those matchups, I think, is super important. And then from a clearing perspective, from a special teams perspective, just something that Coach Tambroni really stresses is just playing a clean game in between the 30s. I think that's something that his mark on Cornell is still very much there. They play a similar style to us. So I think you're going to see a 4-quarter kind of punch for punch, blow for blow type game. But I think, as long as it really starts with that unwavering belief, I think that the boys can get it done. And hopefully we can see them on Memorial Day weekend, or on Memorial Day.
So in 2020, you were the first overall pick in the PLL draft. and you're coming off 2 straight league titles and looking for a third. But how much fun has it been to be part of that team, but also part of this really incredible growth of the PLL that we're seeing nationally, to where people are tuning in from all over the country and the sport has really grown, and you've had a big hand in it. How much fun has that been?
It's been awesome. I graduated at such an opportunistic time, obviously with the PLL starting in 2019. So I'm extremely lucky and grateful for the Rabels and them taking the chance and taking the risk to be able to build this thing. And it's been super fun to be able to do it this past 2 years alongside one of my teammates from Penn State, Max. So to be able to continue to play with him and then see TJ come in and have the success that he's had, obviously matching up against Chris Sabia. So I have graduated. I am away from Penn State, but that brotherhood is still very much there in the PLL, and excited for Matty Trainer and Kevin Parnham. Frack got signed. All these guys to be able to kind of influx the league and continue to carry on that tradition that I don't think was there prior to. I think the PLL gave guys like myself, gave guys like TJ, Mac, hope for playing professional lacrosse, which I think is really important. For so long it was really the college game, and I think the PLL has done a great job of really putting it on a pedestal and being able to showcase us in the best way.
Now, awesome advice from Grant Amen, and just really appreciate his time. What a stud he was at Penn State. Good luck to the Nittany Lions. If you want to see any of our Impact interviews and full interview conversations, make sure you go to our website, nittany-game-week.com. Coming up, he's a distinguished alumni. Officially, a big award for former offensive lineman John Urschel. We're heading into the final minutes of Nittany Game Week.
The headlines are heart-wrenching. Crews recover body of missing swimmer. Drowning victim did not wear a life jacket. You don't think it can happen to you. The river looks calm, but the current is a killer if you don't wear a life jacket. Swimming, floating, fishing, boating, wear it. The life you save could be yours. Don't fall victim to drowning. Wear a life jacket.
These are more than just trucks. Every shipment moved by the R&R family of companies contributes to the Excel Foundation for Autism Research and Inclusion, funding safe spaces like the Sensory Room at Penn State's Beaver Stadium, and a special event sensory trailer, and giving thousands that were unheard a voice.
Now is the time to amplify non-speaking voices and drive meaningful change.
These trucks are powered by purpose.
The Nittany Game Week Depth Chart is brought to you by Burke and Bradley Orthopedics. Located in Pittsburgh, Burke and Bradley Orthopedics is a comprehensive sports medicine practice, providing patients with the most current and innovative approaches in diagnosis and treatment.
It's Penn State's highest honor, and a former Nittany Lions and NFL offensive lineman is being added to that list. John Urschel will officially be made a distinguished alumni of the school in a ceremony on June 7th. He's among a class of 8 alumni that also includes legendary former field head hockey coach Shar Moret Curtis and longtime Blue Band director Dick Bundy. Now it's time for our final Nittany Game Week Dean's List of the season. Handful of honors for the baseball guys. Paxton Kling with an incredible year on the diamond for the blue and white. He's named for the conference first team and all defensive squads. Jack Porter slugs his way onto the Big Ten second team as a designated hitter, and grad student Cole Wagner earns the Big Ten Sportsmanship Award for the Nittany Lions. Sticking with the sportsmanship theme, the track and field teams both have an athlete recognized. For the men, it's Alan Clay that receives a sportsmanship award. For the women, it's Gabriella Reese. One other important addition in the PSU athletics department, a new women's lacrosse coach is in Happy Valley. Kayla Trainer was a standout player at Syracuse. She takes the head coach job at Penn State after spending the past 4 years as the head coach at her alma mater.
Thank you, Ryan. Congrats to all the athletes and coaches receiving postseason honors in the spring programs. Don't forget, we bring all Nittany Lions together with our depth chart at nittany-game-week.com. We're connecting businesses that support the show with our viewers. We've covered Penn State athletics for 40 consecutive weeks. A lot of Nittany Lions content accumulates over that time. You can see it all and check out past episodes and other web exclusive content on our website, nittany-game-week.com. It is a short hiatus for the show. We're going to be back in late August as the football season and fall sports ramp up. For Ryan, Jay, and the entire Nittany Game Week crew, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
In the Pocono Mountains, we always want you to feel like a guest in our home, our mountain home.
Our 4 diamond homes.
You can dream.
Relax, we'll do it all for you.
Do it your own way. Choose a vacation rental home.
Our water parks are a splash of world class. We don't have to clean all these rooms, right?
The Pocono Mountains, where you're treated like a guest in all our mountain homes. Visit PoconoMountains.com.